Welcome back to the Country Minute Podcast. I'm your host, James Shotwell, and today I'm talking to up-and-coming country artist Preston Cooper. But before we get there, I need to set the scene because I know his name might not be familiar to everyone, but it will be very soon, and I can give you an example of why I know that to be true. This is not something I'm just throwing out as a possibility. He is going to be massive, and this is how I know. So last week, Laura and I went to Nashville for Country Radio Seminar. It's this annual event where all the labels come together and showcase their talent and their newest songs to people in radio in hopes of getting airplay. And this is one of the toughest crowds in the music industry because after all, they get songs and artists and access thrown at them all the time. So they are not impressed seeing someone like Brad Paisley perform while they eat lunch. And yes, these musicians perform while people eat lunch. For 3 days in Nashville, while everyone in radio has lunch, the biggest names in country music get on stage and play a new song to a crowd that will applaud but very rarely actually have an emotional or visceral reaction to what's happening out there in the world. Visceral. It's a hard word for me to say sometimes. Anyways, this past week, Preston Cooper, who's about 21 years old, he hails from Ohio. He's only been in Nashville for a year, but in that year, everything has gone right. He found the right people to write with, they found the right people to play those songs with, and they got the deal that everyone dreams of getting. He has 2 songs on streaming, and he was at CRS last week, probably the least likely candidate to have a big response from the crowd. But he played his debut single. It's called Weak, W-E-A-K, not strong, but weak. He played that song for the crowd, and at the end, a standing ovation occurred. And I need you to understand how rare that is. This same week, I saw Parker McCollum, Dierks Bentley. I saw Lainey Wilson perform. None of them received a standing ovation. However, this kid from Ohio, who most of the people in the room had never seen before, brought those people to their feet, and after you hear his voice, you'll easily understand why. Now, this conversation happened during CRS, so much like some of the other ones will be running around this time, it's not very long. It's about 10 minutes, but we get into a lot of stuff. How Preston found his calling, how he got to Nashville, how everything happened so fast, and of course, how he's handling all those adjustments. I believe we're going to be talking about Preston Cooper all year long, and it starts right here with this interview. So sit back, relax after you subscribe, and enjoy the show. Back at CRS with the one and only Preston Cooper. Preston, how's your day going?
It's been great. Busy, but great.
How are you handling this gauntlet of talking to people?
Man, I'm just doing my thing. Just staying chill and having fun talking to people. I love it.
I love it. You and I were just talking about this. You're at that phase right now where you're starting to learn all these names.
Yes, I am.
Are you do you practice, or you're like, okay, Chicago, this guy?
So I actually have a notebook that I keep, and I write down all the names, like radio people and DSPs. I always write down their names so I remember them, when I call them or they call me or I see them. So it's kind of funny.
I've never heard of somebody actually doing the work like that. I never know how people do it, so maybe that is the secret, and you're letting it out right now, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, just keep track, man.
Dude, everyone I've talked to this week has been very excited to talk to you, and it seems like things are happening so fast for you. So for people that are not moving as quickly as Preston Cooper is, can you tell us like the elevator pitch story of your journey?
Yeah, man. So moved to Nashville a year ago. I met the Warren Brothers. We started writing a lot of music together. We went in the recording studio and recorded my first release. Actually, the first day I came to Nashville, and that just got released a couple weeks ago. Week. Yep, Week. And I'm so proud of it and excited. Tonight at midnight, I have another song releasing called One More Place I've Never Been. I'm so excited about it, and y'all go stream that. So.
And who's the writers for that?
Me and the Warren Brothers.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, are these songs all from like the same kind of period of recording, or have you been kind of building up a catalog?
Building up. Every couple months we'd get together and write songs and record.
So tell us about this new one. Where's it come from? Was it your idea? Was it their idea? Who brought it to the room?
Man, we just kind of brainstormed, and sometimes writing's like fiction, we're just like throwing out these stories. You could write a book,
Yeah.
And so it's just about this girl moving away in another place, and she's with another guy, and she's having feelings with that other guy, and that's one more place that he'll never be. It's one more place in her heart and in her soul, not only physically, but he'll never be there.
That's the kind of idea you tap onto. Now we have to write it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, man, that's so good.
Yeah.
We have to stay here longer now.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like got that rock and roll vibe, and it's just like, it hits, man.
Was it one of those things that just poured out once you cracked it, or did you really have to work on this one?
Yeah, so we really had to work on it because we wrote the song, and it wasn't really like clicking with us, musically and sonically. But a couple months later, we came back to it in the studio, and the band played it.
Okay.
And it came to life, man. Now it's one of my favorite songs. And it really, yeah.
Well, I want to jump back to Week. It is it's still new to most people.
It is new.
It's hearing brand new songs as soon as they come out. But I am curious. I always want to know, like, how do you pick that first song? You're kicking in the door with Week. Why is that the song that kicks in the door?
Well, in my opinion, I think it represents me as an artist the best.
I love
vocally and musically. It was the first song I wrote when I got here, and there was so many God moments. It just kind of happened, and my label was like, what do you want to do? They kind of gave me the option. I told them, and they ran with it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You said the first one when you got here.
Yeah, first song I wrote.
Were you just feeling that way, or what?
I was feeling it, and I had wrote that melody a long time ago before I got to Nashville, and was like, hey, can you guys do something with this? And they're like, yeah. So we started writing it, and they're like, this is bad A.
You gotta bless those like unfinished thoughts. As long as you don't lose them.
Right.
I have a thing where I'm like, man, I had an idea once, I think.
Yeah.
You're like,
I have to record everything on my phone because I'll forget.
I think my biggest fear is that if I die, and I always tell my wife she has to delete my notes app. Like, I don't want anyone to go through my voice memos.
Yeah, man.
Notes app because they'll think I'm an insane person.
Yeah. So I would put a recorder in my mailbag because I worked for the post office.
Okay.
And I would put a recorder in there and sing as I would walk, and I was called the singing mailman. It was a whole story, but. I'd go back to that recorder and listen to all the stuff I did during the day, and I would write it later in the afternoon, after work. Yeah, it was fun.
Singing mailman. So you had a walking route.
I did.
Okay.
14 miles.
14 miles.
Every day, yeah.
Where from? Where are you based?
Fredericktown, Ohio.
Okay.
Small town.
What part of Ohio? Is it north, south, east, west?
It's like right in the middle.
Okay.
Like 45 minutes north of Columbus.
All right. I'm from Findlay, Bowling Green originally.
Oh my gosh, my cousin lives there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So so you started saying Ohio. I was like, this is all
Findlay, yeah. I played
the energy feels familiar between us. I couldn't figure out why. Now we go Ohio.
Yeah.
There we go.
Ohio, go Buckeyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. People say it's country,
It is.
especially out there.
Yeah, it is. Where I'm from, it's all country fields and farmers, and
Well, you've been in Nashville for a year. How do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
There's so many people that I've met, and it feels so centralized, the country music business and any type of genre, but there's just so many people here and musicians, and it's been great being here.
It is wild how people things. Now, how have you adjusted to this? Is something that I've been we talked a lot about recently is this idea of like you're starting to get really successful. You come to a place like here, strangers approach you and there's like, are you Preston Cooper? Say something, the nicest thing you've ever heard, and then they just disappear into like the ether.
Yeah.
Is that still kind of weird to like wrap your head around? Because they walk away and you're like,
A little bit. It's cool. It's cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, I walked in here yesterday, my first time here at the Omni, and they're like, hey, can you sign this for me? And I'm like, of course I can. Like, it was like the coolest thing ever. So
That's the dream though, right?
yeah. Yep,
Okay, so
pretty
new
cool.
song tonight. Set me up for like into summer. What else you got between now and like let's say June? What do we got going on?
Yeah, so I got a bigger project coming soon.
Okay. Is it
not
would we
gonna-
say it's extended or would we say it's full?
It's full. It's a big thing. So yeah, I'm going on the road with Cameron Marlowe this spring, and then going into summer, I'm going on the road with Riley Green.
Oh, just a few, just some guys.
Just some guys. Yeah, they're
Just some
great.
dudes.
They're so great. Ella Langley's going to be on the Riley tour, and Lauren Watkins, and it's going to be a really fun time.
I absolutely believe that. I think Cameron's one of the top 5 voices we have right now, dude.
Oh yeah, he is. He's
we met him last year, and you're gonna have a good time out there.
Yeah, he's cool. It was funny because I was playing Whiskey Jam, and he was there.
Oh, wow.
And he reached out to my agent the next day and was like, I want him on every single show on my tour. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was so
And
cool.
that's why you moved to Nashville.
That's why I
folks.
moved to Nashville. It's the best thing I could have done for my
That is
career.
exactly. It's so fun. I'm glad you told me that because I didn't know you very well. When we started asking some songwriter friends, they were like, he's been in town for a minute, but like,
Yeah.
sometimes it just
It just
clicks.
happens.
It just clicks. And how have you seem very calm about it all. Have you been chill through the whole process, or has there been points where you're like, what is happening right now?
There's a lot of what's happening moments, but I'm pretty calm overall.
You swallow it, but you're like, I got it.
Yeah, just keep
Your game
myself
face is
grounded.
very good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good poker face. But yeah, man, it's been good. And, I think just remembering where I came from is super important. And that's what keeps me,
So
chill and grounded.
Past this song, is there a song that's not the one coming out tonight you're most excited to release that you could tell me about? Maybe tell me a title, maybe a story.
Well, actually, the song coming out tonight is my favorite song.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
but it wasn't the first one out the gate.
No, it wasn't. There's a strategic plan to it.
All right.
Just to tease everybody.
Give them a little taste.
Yeah, it's like here's something to, that you can listen to, but
Classic.
here's what we're really, gonna hit you hard with. So,
All right.
and that's not even the hardest song in my opinion. So,
Ooh, okay. Okay. Well, you said this one has a little rock and roll influence.
It does.
Does
It
that
does.
kind of run throughout the project that's on the
a
horizon?
little bit. There's a lot of different types of genres.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because people's like, how do you describe your music? And just like, I don't know. It's just Preston Cooper. That's the only way I can describe it, man.
All it needs to be, man.
It's like John Mayer, Keith Urban. It's just Keith Urban.
yeah, it's
You
just
know?
Keith Urban. Is
Yeah.
it something else? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So there's some Western things, and
I would rather someone hear a song and think that sounds like you specifically than that sounds like country, just like a generic, like, what is it?
Yeah.
It's pop music, I guess,
Right. Yeah.
It just only Preston Cooper can give you this.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to
It's
get.
got a hint of everything in there. I'll
That's
say
fair
that.
enough. Well,
Yeah.
What if you had to give me the top 3, like, musical influences for the project?
Chris Stapleton, Bob Seger,
Bob Seger.
John Mayer.
Bob Seger's probably top 3 all time for me.
Oh yeah, big time.
No better storyteller, honestly. Great
yeah.
American Songbook.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh,
Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
speaking my language here, Preston.
Cool beans, man. Yeah.
I love that very much. Well, you have been an absolute delight. You have such a
Yeah.
busy year ahead of you.
I do. Yeah.
Where can people find you so they keep up with everything?
Well, on Instagram, it's Preston Cooper Music. Same for Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. YouTube. I have a website out there, PrestonCooperMusic.com. So you can find that. I almost said at Gmail, but
Also, I mean, if you want to throw an email out,
yeah, an email, whatever.
yes, whatever.
But yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Preston. This has been an
Yeah,
absolute blast.
thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.